Kevin Hunter with Amy Nelson on the Business Forum Show, and we're chatting with Randy Smith from Randy's Electric. You can find him on the web, randyselectric.com, and you can also call the office at 763-560-5600. Again, that number, 763-560-5600. If we could a little bit, Randy, I'd like to visit with you about, because your business has been around since 2002, correct?
That's correct.
So you've had to go through some of the toughest economic times that many people in the construction business have. And that the fact that you're still around today in any fashion is a testament to the fact that you've had to wrangle through some pretty tough times in your business and figure it out and still be around today, because there's many organizations that can't make the same claim. So talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you had to deal with in your business, getting through like the 08, 09, 2010 areas in your business.
Okay, sure. You know, we were going gangbusters by 2008. Mm-hmm. We were growing. I'd hired on another guy. I was spending money on advertising and, of course, advertising contracts. Mm-hmm. And everything was going just fine until all of a sudden the bottom fell out. And the phone just stopped ringing one day. Mm. And I couldn't figure it out what had happened. The phone stopped ringing. And so all your bills keep going, mm-hmm. but your revenue stops. And so we had to make some adjustments, mm-hmm. and it was difficult, to say the least. Mm-hmm. But I thought maybe I'm supposed to get out of this. Maybe this is just not what I'm supposed to do with the rest of my life. So I visited with my pastor a little bit, and I said, how do you know, like if you have your own business, how do you know that you should just quit and go away and try something else for a while?
Sure.
It's a difficult, you can get fired from a job, or you can get tired from a job and just quit one day. Mm-hmm. But if you have your own business, how do you know your time is up? Mm-hmm. Your time is up. It's over. And Pastor said to me, I'm not going to agree with you to fail. I'm just not going to agree with you to fail. There's a way through this. So I started thinking about that, and I think he was right. Mm-hmm. So we looked and tried to figure it out, and we had to redo some things and go through some changes and adjustments. We lost our house. It was tough. Mm-hmm. But in the end, Randy's Electric came through. We were able to get Randy's Electric through, and now we've got some history. Now we understand things a little bit better, and you learn from all the things you go through, mm-hmm. and you get better. But it was very difficult. Mm-hmm.
Without a doubt. And I think also, when you go through situations like that in your business and you find a way to survive, that when you start looking at issues of customer service, how can we do? Because the thing is, when you think about, if the economy is going really well, and let's say you have 100 competitors in a given region in that sort of work, when the economy is going really well, they can pretty much do whatever they want to, and there will always be work. Yeah. But then when things become tough, well, then it's the better ones that sit down and say, what do we have to do? Is there some level of customer service we have to accomplish so that we can get the work that's left of what work there was before? And then how do we become a better organization as we move forward? And without a doubt, that can have a very positive and meaningful effect on your business. And would you agree that your business is better off today as a result of some of that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the business is definitely better. There's a whole group of contractors, and maybe most electrical contractors, who only arm wrestle to be the cheap guy.
Mm-hmm. The race to the bottom.
The race to the bottom. Let's be the bottom feeder. Mm-hmm. We'll be the best bottom feeder there is. Mm-hmm. And instead, what we focused on is being the best customer service people that we can. Excellent customer service. Mm-hmm. And to be better than everybody else. I'm convinced at this point that we are the best electrical contractor in the cities. Mm-hmm. As far as customer experience and all that stuff, we're not the biggest. Mm-hmm. But customers' experience is the best with us. Because I was convinced that that's the key to having a good business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One thing that, I was talking to someone about this yesterday. They said, how did you kind of get through it and this hard time, and how did you grow? And I said, one, it's about changing your mindset instead of being stuck in your same way. Yeah. And two, I think too many people think that it's some complicated formula or spreadsheet or process that we have to go through. And really, it comes down to basics of customer service, of making sure you do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. And really, that's what people are looking for, and they are willing to pay a little bigger price for that because of the experience that they have. You know, even thinking about haircut, right? I mean, you know, some people go to Great Clips, nothing wrong with that situation, and other people, you know, go to the salon to get the full experience. You pay a higher price for that, but is it maybe a better stylist? Maybe, maybe not, right? It really doesn't necessarily have to be, but it is about that experience that you have. And I think that, you know, that's what people really have to focus on. And it's not about saying it, it's about doing it, and that your customers really do feel that, because a lot of people can try to say, oh, we have the best customer service, but if I call you today and you don't answer your phone, I'm going to be like, well, what happened, Randy? Right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Well, you know, when I think about even customer loyalty, and for the organizations that do succeed in the race to the bottom, become the cheapest out there, they can say what they want to about that position in the market, but the customer's not loyal to them. They're loyal to the cheap dollar that
That's
they
correct.
just spent.
Yep.
And when you're instead focusing on a customer relationship and an experience for those people, they become loyal to your process, because they're like, wow, that was amazing. That's something I want to share with others. And when I need the help again, I know who I'm going to call.
Yep.
And that's a client that's meaningful, not just for you today then, but for your future as well.
That's correct. And right now we're getting about a third of our jobs are repeat customers. And that's amazing in the electrical industry. Most of the time, people don't need an electrician, but between like every 3 to 7 years. So to get that kind of return is wonderful, and I'm so proud of my electricians. I've got the best guys in town, and the loyalty is there. Customers just appreciate that.
Now, the electrical field, unlike the plumbing field, because there's all kinds of homeowners that think, well, hey, gluing pipes together and doing whatever, this is essential, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah.
The electrical field doesn't have that as much, because a lot of people, when they see a wire in the wall, they go, I don't want to touch it, and have nothing to do it. But yet, there are a few of these daring, and I even dare say ignorant souls that say, oh, no problem, I'll run my own wires and hook up my box and do whatever.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they're standing out in the front yard watching the fire department save what's left of the...
Calling Jimmy John's. Right?
Yeah, call it Jimmy John's, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, do you have any stories of some real homeowner nightmares that you've had to go in and fix?
Oh, of course. And you know, part of the key is not make the homeowner feel really stupid. But sometimes it's hard, you know, because how do you tell them the truth without giving them the impression they were really stupid? Yesterday, one of my electricians was in a house, and there was power off in part of the house. So the electrician was there, and they had just finished their basement a couple of years before. And the customer had been living there for more than 10 years. And had been doing his own stuff. You know, we can see somebody's been doing stuff, and we can see about how long ago it was, you know, because things change, and so we kind of knew, and okay, so we could tell that he'd been doing things, and so we don't say that to them, but power's off in part of his house, and so the electrician was checking, and power leaves the one place and doesn't arrive somewhere else. So he was asking open-ended questions, is what we do. So what do you think could have happened if it leaves there? And the guy says, well, okay, there might be a box up inside that ceiling that I just covered over with sheetrock. And the electrician said, do you remember about where it is? And the guy pointed to the spot, which was kind of nice. You know, if he'd have sold the house to somebody else and gone away, we wouldn't have known where to look.
Right.
Had to get out the circuit tracers and try to figure it out. We'd make bigger holes in the ceiling then if that happened. But,
Yes.
So he opened up a hole in the ceiling and found a box without a cover on it. So the wires are dangling out of the box up against the sheetrock, and there's black marks all around this. And of course, it's
Not
nailed,
good.
Not good. It's nailed to a wood member, you know, through the ceiling. And so he was very careful not to try to make the homeowner feel too ridiculous. But electricity is one of those things that if somebody that you love sleeps there, you should really consider. Right? You should really consider. Like, I don't take near as good care of my car as I do my wife's car. Right? Most guys would probably be that way. If my car breaks down, it's not the end of the world. But if my wife breaks down, that's going to be a major problem, and I don't want that to happen. So I take good care of her car. Usually, you know, somebody that you love sleeps in that house where you think you can do your own electrical. And there's just maybe more important things than dollars when it comes to things like that. Do I have time for a quick story about
You
smoke
absolutely
detectors?
do. Go ahead.
I was walking out of Walmart a couple of years ago, about 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, and another customer named Randy Smith called me. And I'd been working for him through the years because he thought it was funny we had the same name. And turns out that is this the...
Yes.
This is the end. I don't have time for this story.
You got 30 seconds?
Okay, and they believed in smoke detectors, but they had the basement door shut, and they were all battery smoke detectors. By the time that they opened the door and smelled the smoke, flames were shooting up out of their basement.
Not
And
good.
so we tried, and they had known that they should have interconnected their smoke detectors, but they never did. And so...
A lot of good lessons to be learned. We've been visiting with Randy Smith, Kevin Hunter, and Amy Nelson on the Business Forum Show. You can find them at randyselectric.com. You can also call 763-560-5600. Thanks for listening.